Well, good evening, everybody. Alan Slaughterzinski with the Brevard Sports Network. And last night, or as we're recording this, so a couple of nights ago here on Brevard Sports Network, we had the Melbourne Bulldogs softball team going up against the Vieira Hawks. And the rain came in. We had to pack up a couple of minutes early and get out. And so we didn't get a chance to do any post game interviews. But I've been really wanting to catch up with this gentleman for quite some time because he is leading the manager of the best softball team in Brevard County, hands down, no doubt about it, over the past 3 seasons for sure. You're talking about a state championship in 2022. And then last year just ran into a tough pitcher and team in Skylar Wagoner and the Hawks. But in that game last night, his team, well, I'll let him tell you because it's part of what I want to talk to him about. Please help me welcome, for the first time here, the manager of the Melbourne Bulldogs softball team, Dan EDEL. Coach, welcome and thanks for joining me here today. Let's talk about this win that you had over Vieira. Kind of a thorn in your side last year, if you will. What did you tell the girls before this one last night? Because I know it was important to them.
Oh, absolutely. I just told them to forget about everything that had transpired in the past, focus on what we can control, um, have really good at bats. Just if you make an error in the field, brush that off, come back to the plate with something special, and just have a very short term memory. And everything else will take care of itself if we all do our jobs.
Coach, one of the things I talk about with what you have done with this team is a formula. And I can remember back when you won the state championship a couple of years ago, and you and I were talking after the Bartow game, the second day after the
Yes.
Bartow game, and
Hmm.
you said, a lot of times with the schedule we play, the pitchers we run into, these all of these at bats are going to be tough. So it's going to appear at times as if our team struggles to hit the softball, when in fact that's not really the case. It's about timely hitting for you guys and being able to get up there against some of the best pitchers in the state and the country. Talk to me about the schedule that you guys play and how your girls are able to adapt and overcome this.
Well, I got to give a lot of credit to the coaching staff, as well as obviously the talent that we have on this softball team. We looked at last couple of years how our schedule is being built out, and this year we truly focused on having front end loaded with elite talent and then back end loaded also with elite talent. Therefore, we can get ready for the postseason, and every team brings a different challenge to us based upon how their pitchers throw, how their defense works. So, we actually have changed our lineup multiple times. I'm sure as you've realized as you've
Yeah.
come to the game. So we're looking at that formula and trying to get things that start clicking on all cylinders. And again, it's really based upon the teams that we face is how we adjust our lineup and what we're going to do.
I think the thing that struck me last night was, you know, your team's dangerous enough. Okay, here's what I say. The Melbourne Bulldogs aren't going to beat themselves in the field. You guys are the best in the county, and I'm just talking from a county perspective here. The best in the county at fielding the softball. You guys
Yes,
are smart on the bases. You don't take that bait. I don't know if you live by the philosophy, you don't get on to get thrown out. But
correct.
that's exactly what I see when I watch your girls run the bases. Very smart, very intelligent, the timely hitting, and of course, what you get in the circle with Jazzy, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But, Coach, this team is starting to knock the cover off the softball, which makes this team even more dangerous. Talk about having that little bit of a power aspect to the game.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we've always had it there, but I feel that we haven't had the right people in the right place in the lineup based upon, past teams that we've had. So, this sophomore class that won states along with the entire team is now the senior class, obviously, and they've all just matured so well, and They are hyper focused, and they've really bought into our dogs all in concept. And we told them that whether it's fielding, whether it's batting, it's an organic process. So therefore things are going to be fluid, and they can move at any point in time. And they've truly bought into the philosophy that not only I have brought, but also Brittany Kilcommons and also Chris Cottrell have brought to the team. And they are just a different machine and a different animal. I mean, the just like you said about the base running, we really focused on that in conditioning in the fall, where in years past we might not have done quite as much as that. So we drilled down to the minutia parts of the game, and we said, listen, it's the little things that we've got to fine tune. You're only as strong as the weakest part of your game.
Right.
And the last couple of years, the weakest part of our game has been base running, and has been trying to get to that two strike approach and get the ball in play. And now you're seeing 6 games in, we are, as you just so put it, ripping the cover off the ball because we are focused and they are driven, and we've implemented some new techniques.
Yeah, I mean, right now, I mean, you just are absolutely rolling along here with Melbourne Bulldogs softball manager Dan EDEL. And Coach, let me ask you about Jazzy and having had the opportunity to coach her for the past couple of years. I mean, you know, I'll just turn the floor over to you. There, you know, people are seeing her statistics on the screen. First of all, they're mind-numbing, absolutely mind-numbing. But you know, she's also a great young woman as well. And going to Florida State, just talk about having an elite student athlete of the caliber of a Jazzy Francic, and your approach to that.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, her work ethic is second to none. Is she, like in any great sport, when you've got that elite position, whether it's the pitcher, the quarterback, the center in basketball, when you have that one player that is just elite, it makes everybody else around her that much stronger and that much better. And the work ethic falls off into them as well. So, I mean, without Thompson behind the plate, there's no Francic. Without Riley at short, there's no Alyssa Arnold at first. Without Haley Turner in center, you don't have Camden Hurd. And then you throw in, Ashley Berkemeyer, throw in Maddie Prado, and throw in, the rest of them. It's just, it's a curse, because
Yeah,
when you're so deep, you
yeah.
want to try different things, but obviously, the unknown when you have underclassmen, sometimes the moment can be too big. But I got to tell you, in the last 2 games, O'Galley and Vieira, the underclassmen have absolutely rocked it because they don't understand the rivalry. They don't understand the pressure. And I think taking that off of the weight of the seniors when they see them perform, it made the seniors and juniors kind of relax and be able to just be themselves as well.
And you talk about your underclassmen. You know, obviously, you have a special group of seniors that have done a lot for this program, but your underclassmen in the Ayalas and the Cottrells of the world,
Yes.
this program's not going anywhere, is it, Coach?
Oh, absolutely not. With having Maddie Prado,
Yeah.
Lena, Haley Cottrell, Ashley Berkemeyer, and then we've got others, Kaylee Cote, who's there. You got Kristen Bender, who's, stepping up as well, Hannah Harris.
Yes,
So,
yeah.
yeah, I mean, you know, it's really the philosophy of next person up. I mean, we got hit with some injuries, just a week before the preseason, and we weren't sure what we were going to have, but everybody seems to be 90% or a little bit better. So we're playing within ourselves. We get that 3-4 run lead, then we know we're in really good shape, let alone getting a 6, 7, 8, 10, 11 point lead.
Coach, I think
Right.
it's six seniors. You and these six seniors that you have on this team this year, man, you've been through an awful lot. And
Yes.
I mean, let's call it for what it is, Coach. Both on the
Yes, sir.
field and off the field, you guys have been through so much together. I know it's going to be tough to see this particular class go. Talk a little bit about your emotions watching these six play in their final season.
Um, oh, it's in one aspect, it's heart wrenching knowing that each game that gets played, it's the last to the to the end of the schedule, and never will be able to get them back again. And in another sense, it's uplifting to see that even as seniors, they're starting to do things that maybe they didn't do last year as well or the year before when we were privileged enough to win states. So it's going to be incredible to see them move on into their next chapter in softball and just in life in general. But yeah, it's bittersweet having a class of this size graduate, and there's a lot of big shoes to fill. And
Oh
we've
yeah.
got probably three or four out of the six that will be able to, I don't know if fully fill them, but they'll be able to be good enough that we're still, just like you said, we're still going to be very, very strong next year based upon the coaching staff alone. I mean, I can't say enough about Chris Cottrell and Brandy Kilcommon. We drill down. We each have our own little thing that we bring to the table, and then we come together as a unit. And it's refreshing to have such a unified coaching staff, which makes a unified team.
Coach, when you won the state championship 2 years ago, all of us, I'm sure you as well, we all thought, well, this is going to happen for the next 3 years. And then all of a sudden, what happened last year happened. As I've said to Coach Patrick at Merritt Island in volleyball, Coach Wayne at Vieira in volleyball, reaching that state championship and coming up short. What did you and your team learn last year when you didn't get back from there? What lessons did you guys take and bring into this year saying, okay, you know what? This is what we learned, this is what we're going to fix, and this is how we're going to go back?
What we had to fix was the attitude that when we walked on the field, it was an assumption or a foregone conclusion that either a team was going to lay down or that we were just going to breeze through because we had Jazzy, because we had Alicia, because we had Nadia English last year,
Right.
and others. And we didn't play our best ball at the end of the season, and we did not capitalize on what we needed to. So, like I said, in the fall, I warned them after the PAL season was over. I said, this is a different animal. You're getting to know, Brandy a little bit more. You're getting to know Chris a little bit more. And I said, and I'm going to be a completely different coach this year. And we are going to grind. It's going to be really tough in practices. You're going to fall out at times, but the mental aspect of it will get you tougher, and therefore you'll be able to draw on those past experiences. Instead of maybe having another 15 or 16 or 17 inning game, you can end it in 9 innings or 8 innings and not have to drill into that, and just truly have each other's back and be a family unit. That was a big thing, is having the unity of all of us.
How'd you, with that unity, Coach? Is it that unity and that family atmosphere that helped you guys tune out all the noise from the outside?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, everybody has each other's back. Like I've said to the team before, and girls are a little bit different than boys. You don't have to go over everybody's house and sleep over every weekend, everything else. But when you step across these lines, you need to have each other's back. You need to be united in school, united together, and then that will carry over into any other game, any big game, and that will carry you through. And it's, in sports, like you just said too, it's not always the best team, the best athletes that win. It's the team that's united. It's the team that says, you can make the error. I have your back.
Right.
I'm not going to point the finger. And you know what? I'm going to get up to the plate and I'm going to hit a double and I'm going to bunch you over and we're going to win the game. And we're going to have that common goal. And that was a theme that I hammered home during the fall with the other coaches. And they were all on board with that.
Coach, I'm curious to get your take on this kind of an off softball topic, because I think everybody in this state and even in this county believes that when the Florida High School Athletic Association brings name, image, and likeness or allows it, that it's all about a football thing. But, Coach, I think if you look across the spectrum of NCAA sports, there are a lot of softball players that do well in NIL also at the college level. There's no doubt about that. I mean, there's some of the top earners in the game. What's your take on NIL as it pertains to girls' sports in high school?
I think they have to have as much or as an equal chance to earn just like football does. I mean,
Right.
you're right. I mean, that's the sport that's carried through. I mean, we really should be investing more into the WNBA, into National Fast Pitcher Association to get women up to some of these salaries, whether it be soccer or whatever, because the men make it, and we need to support our daughters and the wives that put just as much hard work into it. And I think there needs to be a little bit more equality. I think some of the national brands that do things that, they need to put some money back into the female sports to help develop them and help, promote them as well. I mean, there's no reason why they can't be making that kind of money.
I agree, and I think what you're going to find is when NIL becomes legal for high school student athletes in the state of Florida, I think it's going to shock a lot of people how many girls' sports are able to capitalize off that. I truly believe that. But
Absolutely.
coach, as we get set to wrap up here, what is it that everyone should know that maybe they don't know about this year's team?
Wow. Um, I hadn't really thought of that. This year's team, I mean,
From
go ahead.
from what you know at this point, from what you can see as a coach, what impresses you the most at this point?
What impresses me is the unification that the message that we sent out. I mean, there is one ultimate goal in what we have, and we need to attain that. That is, to bring back another state championship. I don't think, and you could probably correct me, but I don't think there's another Brevard County school that's won two in the same 5-year period or in the same decade at all.
There's only
There has
two of you that's only ever won a fast pitch title.
Correct.
Yeah,
So for us the timing is now, and these girls, they understand that. They understand the magnitude of it. So I can tell you, just in the practices are different, everything, just the approach to everything, the input from the coaches and what we're doing. We are, as you're starting to see, we're getting a lot of good momentum, and we're attacking every game within itself, and then we never look past the team that we're playing, because you just never know what's going to happen.
you just played since the 29th of February, two of the best teams in this county, aside from yourself. Obviously, you beat one of them 7-1. You beat the other 11-5. This team is rolling. Coach EDEL, thank you very much. Always a great conversation, and we certainly appreciate your time today.
Likewise, thank you so much, and we love what you do for the high school sports, and love having you out on the field, and thank you
Well,
for supporting us.
we're going to see a lot more for the rest of the year. For head coach Dan EDEL, I'm Alan Slaughter-Zinski for the Brevard Sports Network.